Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Usher, coming at you guys from Miami, Florida. Today, I want to talk to you guys since the NBA All Star weekend was just passed. So I figured, might as well recap and talk about the first half of the NBA season. So let's get right into it. So, like I said, I'm from Miami, so I'm a Heat fan. Not looking not too hot to start the season. Right now, we're sitting in the ninth seed, tied with Detroit for the A seed record wise, but they own the tiebreaker. We're 26 and 30. I think the biggest though issue that we have, the two biggest issues that we have, is we're 11 and 16 at home, and we're very inconsistent. The Heat are very inconsistent. They play very well against teams like Golden State and Milwaukee and Oklahoma City and Houston, but they play down to their competition and they lose and get blown out by the Hawks, the Knicks, the Bulls. I don't think we've beaten the Hawks all year, and the Hawks have 19 wins. They're 19 and 39, and we've lost to them every time we've played them so far. So we're very inconsistent in that aspect, and we don't protect home court. So second half of the season, the Heat definitely need to, continue to play the way they play against above 500 teams, but at the same time they need to not play down to their competition when it comes to below 500 teams. They gotta, full throttle, go at it, compete, not take teams lightly because it's not working out. And at the same time, they also got to win those games at home. That's the most important. You got to protect home court. First half of the season, we did not do that. So second half, that's going to be a big emphasis, something we really gotta take care of. So we'll see how it turns out. So diving right into the Eastern Conference, we'll round out just the top five. We got Milwaukee, number one, Toronto, Indiana, Philadelphia, Boston as the top five teams. Everybody else kind of fighting for 6, 7, and 8. You never know who those are going to be. Um, Indiana, obviously, they lost Victor Oladipo early in the season, a little earlier in the season. So we'll see how well, you know, that team plays for the rest of the year without him, without their number one, and if they're able to hold on to a number three seed or maybe they fall back a little. But I think two teams that are interesting are the Philadelphia 76ers and the Boston Celtics. Because the Sixers, in my opinion, now have the second best starting five in the NBA since they added Tobias Harris and Jimmy Butler. So I think, sitting at the number five seed at the moment, they are they got plenty of time obviously to make it work, to get, everybody connected, get everybody gelled, working together, in a bit of a rhythm. So I think if they can start the second half of the season, you know, playing together as a team, working together, putting egos aside and all of that, they can be in a good position to go into the playoffs with a lot of momentum, with a lot, going for them, working for them, to be able to make a big run, not just in the Eastern Conference playoffs, but also, at a chance for the NBA Finals appearance and, maybe even a championship. Also, I want to talk a little bit about Boston, who I think, in my opinion, they're not playing up to where people thought they would. Last year, obviously, they lost Gordon Hayward for the first game of the season. They get him back this year, and I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're all connected. Doesn't seem like everybody's sort of playing together. Doesn't seem like that whole team is really playing like a team. So I think the whole Gordon Hayward coming back with Kyrie and Tatum and all those guys, they're all egos are all over the place. Nobody knows who's going to be the number one. Nobody knows who's going to take that last shot. Nobody's really taking control. So I think, yeah, they're sitting well at the number four seed in the East. That's good, but they need to find a way to put those things aside, just like in Philadelphia. But I think the difference is Boston. We already have seen a lot of those guys play together, so we know what they're capable of. Philadelphia, they added a lot of new guys. They added, well, two new guys, but still, we don't know for sure how that's going to work out and how that's going to play out. Boston, I think we have a little bit of a better idea. It just doesn't so far look like it's been working out. So I think those are two teams obviously to look at in the East to be able to make a big push, deep into the playoffs and possibly for a championship. I just want to take it over to the Western Conference now for a few minutes. We got Golden State in the first seed. I don't think that surprises anybody. The Nuggets, however, were in the first seed for most of the season, for most of the beginning of the season. Golden State got DeMarcus Cousins back, and they quickly took back control of their top spot. And I think along with I'm sure a lot of other people, expect them to be back. Not just in the playoffs, not just in the Western Conference Finals, but also representing the West in the NBA Finals. Most likely winning it, but you never know. The West is a lot better, in my opinion, than the East. So anything can change with the 1 seed through the 8th seed. Anything can change. There's a lot more competition, I think, in my opinion. But I do want to talk about the number 10th seed, right as of now, the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James and his Los Angeles Lakers. Now, a lot happened to this team before the All-Star break. They had that whole incident with Luke Walton and a couple of veterans getting into an argument, a bit of a dispute. They had the whole, Anthony Davis trade situation where pretty much everybody on the team except for LeBron James was up for trade, and that trade didn't end up going through. So all those players that were up for trade are still on the roster, are still in the locker room, are still playing for the team. So I think that adds, going into the second half of the season, I think that adds, a lot of, an interesting aspect, an interesting factor into how the rest of their season is going to play out, how well those guys are going to really play for that team, because, they might feel like they're disposable. They're just a trade value. They're just a pawn, in a sense, for a bigger, better talented player. So it'd be interesting to see how well that works out for him. I think the first game after the trade deadline, the Lakers played in Indiana without Victor Oladipo, and they lost by 42. I believe it was 40 or 42 points. They got destroyed. They got blown out by 42 points. And everybody was talking about, how everybody on the team was supposed to be traded, was told they were going to get traded. None of them got traded, and then they lose by 40. So it seemed like a lot of those guys didn't really put in the effort, didn't really, their minds were elsewhere. And it kind of showed when they played that game. So I think going into the second half of the season should be very interesting to see how well those guys play and where their minds are going into the rest of the season from here on out. Thanks, guys, for tuning in, for watching my little NBA first half of the season recap. Make sure you make sure you subscribe. I'll be posting a lot more videos, coming up. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.